So thank you for coming out. I'm looking forward to answering your questions, hearing what's on your mind. Cynthia Conley, who's in this really good-looking Beto shirt that you can buy for $25 at BetoForTexas.com, has a microphone in her hand. She'll bring this to you. Just know this.
Representative O'Rourke, thank you for coming all the way out to the Piney Woods. I know this is not exactly your home region, but we appreciate your coming all the way out here to talk to us. My name is Andy Ho. I'm president of the Walker County Democrats Club here in Huntsville. This is downtown. I'm also a member of the Huntsville chapter of the Citizens Climate Lobby, and we are a bipartisan group, and we're advocating for a fee on carbon to encourage people to shift to cleaner energy. Now, Senator Cruz wanted to lead the Paris Accord, and he doesn't even believe that climate change is proven. So what is your position on climate change and on placing a fee on carbon emissions?
Andy, thanks for helping to organize this, and thanks for a great question. When we speak not of the next election, not of any one person's political career, but instead think of the next generation, then we're really doing the business of this democracy. And I would say, 1 year to the day that Hurricane Harvey made landfall, almost destroyed the town of Rockport, Texas. The communities of the Southeast, Victoria, Port Aransas, Port Arthur, Beaumont. We just left Denver Harbor, a neighborhood in Houston, and met those who are still, 1 year later, still just moving back into their homes or getting their homes ready to be where they were before that storm hit. Going to Cashmere Gardens and Trinity Gardens and Houston Gardens, homes that are still boarded up with plywood right now. 58 inches of rain fell during that storm. That is the landfall record for the United States in recorded history. It just happened last year. Last year, which also happened to be the second hottest year that we know of in this planet, follows the hottest year, which was the year before. I want to make the case that no people better understand the consequences of climate change than do the people of Texas. We know because the scientists, if we still care about that, 300 years after the Enlightenment. And thank you everyone who's marching for science nonetheless, because it is under attack right now. Those scientists tell us man-made climate change will ensure that there are more Harveys, they are more frequent, they are more prolonged, they dump more rain. There have been 3 500-year floods in Houston in the last 5 years. Again, I was in remedial algebra forever, but by my math, we should be good for 1,500 years, but we know that we're not. They're going to keep coming back. And whether you care about the morality of allowing our fellow human beings to undergo this, and fellow human beings who, depending on their station in life, their wealth, or their poverty, are going to get hit harder than some. The cost to you and I as taxpayers, whether you live in the Chihuahuan Desert like I do, where it doesn't often flood, we are going to all pay to bail out and to rebuild. And so we can either make decisions now, investing in storm surge barriers or stormwater infrastructure in the short term, but making existential generational decisions right now, like putting a price on carbon. I know that's not easy to talk about in Texas, but I think it is something that if we do not do today, then those kids, grandkids, great-grandkids that follow in the generations to come will not be worried about bailing out from their homes in Houston or Port Arthur. They won't be able to live there anymore. I know the same is true in the northern part of the state, in the Panhandle and in West Texas. Places where it has not rained since October of last year, and then at that point, they had just emerged from 5 years of drought. Amy remembers going to a Saturday morning town hall meeting with me in Glasscock earlier this year, and a woman came, brought her 3 children, says, I'm a Republican, and I also never come to stuff like this, but I'm also a farmer. And I'm farming the same land that my parents farmed, the same land that their parents farmed. But what my grandparents planted and grew, and what my parents planted and grew, we're planting and is not growing here. She said climate change is not something that we're getting ready for in our family. Climate change is something that we're living through right now. We will no longer be able to grow the food and the fiber that feeds and clothes so much of this country and the rest of the planet if we do not make decisions now. Here's the thing. we can continue to produce so much of the energy that this country and the world needs in a far more responsible manner. We can continue to create the jobs connected with that. I know that there's a way to do it. This is the most innovative, the most ingenious country on the face of the planet. I think the people of Texas are fearless when we're at our best. Let's meet that future without fear, but with confidence, and also know that we have a pride of place being number one in the country today in the generation of wind power. We soon could be number one in the generation of solar and geothermal. Those are jobs that are high value, high skill, high wage that we're creating right now, right here. So we can do this. I'm absolutely confident of it. Thank you for the question.